While the members of the United States Congress exit the chamber, as they often do, after whatever the majority deems appropriate to have on the floor of the House, which today was obviously the important National Defense Authorization Act. Nevertheless, in my home state of Texas, the people of Texas are under siege with wide open borders. And so right now, as we have members of Congress, all 400 and something of my colleagues who just left the chamber, they're going off now to go have a steak dinner, go have a glass of wine, go hang out with some of their colleagues, meet up with some folks here in the District of Columbia, but some 1,500 or maybe more miles away in Texas, we have a state and a people who are dealing with the consequences of an administration that fails to faithfully execute the laws of the United States and leaves Texas wide open to be harmed, endangered, and nobody in this body on the other side of the aisle seems to care in the slightest bit. I went down to South Texas a couple of weeks ago with my friend Senator Ted Cruz, met with ranchers, Roma, Texas, met with leaders and ranchers and law enforcement in Uvalde, Texas, met with the leaders of Webb County and Laredo, Texas, went down McAllen, Texas, all places that President Joe Biden has never seemingly been to in his 50 years of public service. Certainly hasn't been there since he's been president. Vice President of the United States, who's allegedly in charge of the border, hasn't found her way to any of these places that I visited a mere 2 weeks ago. The vast majority of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle haven't found their way. Of course, one of my colleagues, the gentlelady from New York, a couple of years ago, somewhat famously found her way down to the border to decry, quote, kids in cages. Where is that colleague today? Wearing perhaps an all-white outfit with red letters on it. Where is the concern for the little girls whose legs have been branded, burned by cartels? Where's the concern for the 89 dead migrants, bodies found in Brooks County, Texas? 89. Where's the concern? My colleagues on the other side of the aisle like to go around talking about how compassionate they are for those seeking to come to the United States. They suggest that those of us who believe that the border should be secured don't want brown people in the United States. That's what they not only imply, it's basically what they say. Meanwhile, there's a hell of a lot of brown people in South Texas who are getting pretty ticked off at an administration that refuses to actually secure the border while their families are endangered. There's a whole lot of brown people who work for the Border Patrol who are feeling pretty darn unappreciated right now when the White House press secretary lies to the American people. The White House press secretary lies on a daily basis to the American people. Lie number one, perpetuating the lie that Border Patrol was whipping migrants. It's a lie. And it's being repeated by my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. It is a lie. The President of the United States and those in charge of the press secretary are countenancing this lie about Border Patrol. This picture I'm standing next to is a picture of Border Patrol with one of their horses interacting with a young man who's, of course, or young boy, I should say, who's one of the migrants from Haiti who's down in Del Rio. Young fella is having a good time. down with this Border Patrol agent down on his knees. This Border Patrol agent's a man, probably with a family. I don't know how old he is, but I know a lot of Border Patrol agents because I actually go there. I don't just dismiss Border Patrol agents as some sort of callous individuals who don't care about human beings. But that's what my colleagues on the other side of the aisle do every single day, led by the President of the United States with a voice from a press secretary who lies every single day about the state of our border, who lies every single day about the actions of Border Patrol. And then today has the audacity to take away horses, at least in the Del Rio sector, I haven't been able to look at the entire order, take away horses from the ability of Border Patrol to actually try to patrol the border. This coming from people who have never been to the daggum border. There are no navigable roads along the river. My Democrat colleagues don't care. My Democrat colleagues don't care that Border Patrol can't run along the river. You'd think, at least in their politically correct nonsense they espouse every day, that they wouldn't want them to have to use automobiles. That maybe they could use horses to go down to the river. Not one of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle goes down and meets with the ranchers, the Border Patrol agents who are dealing with the actual outcome, the actual result of an administrative policy to leave our borders wide open.